Welcome to the Dr. Joe Show. I am extremely happy to be here right now, and not because I have something exceptionally special. Well, all Cuban cigars, I guess, are exceptionally special, but you know, I could. It's just one of those times where I just need a cigar, really badly. I did not get to smoke one yesterday. I was busy working on uploading the Gurkha review, which some of you have been watching. I recently uploaded the La Ep14 jar, Selectos Finos jar release review, which some of you have been watching. So you have those to play with. And today, it's Cuban Cigar Day, as the last cigar we did was Gurkha, a non-Cuban cigar. And we are doing, based on, I was actually going to do the La Ep14 cigar to follow the jar, which we'll still be doing. But for some strange reason, I have gotten 3 requests within the last week to review this cigar. So we're going to review the Romeo y Julieta Short Churchill. Excellent smoke. One of my favorite sizes in the range. One of the, actually the first size to be added to the range in decades, when it was added in 2006. This has become an exceptionally popular format. Especially among smokers in the American region. The idea behind it is basically to allow one to experience the flavor of the full-sized legendary 47 ring gauge by 7-inch Churchill, named after Sir Winston Churchill of England, Great Britain, Prime Minister during World War II. And this cigar is very popular in the American region and getting more popular pretty much everywhere around the world, where it's becoming harder and harder and harder to find a place to smoke. So what you have here basically is a robusto format, and we're going to talk a little bit about Romeo. Since this is the first Romeo y Julieta Cuban we're smoking, we're going to do a little bit about brand history. We're going to talk a little bit about this cigar. And then, a little later on, because we haven't in a few episodes, we've been doing other things, we're going to do a few viewer emails, especially because there's one that caught my attention particularly that I would like to talk about. I'm very happy right now with the way the show is going. We are up to 430, almost 440 subscribers, so they're climbing slowly but steadily. But what makes me most happy is that I've seen more and more people commenting, and I want more and more people. If there are 430 people out there, and you know, whenever I upload I know how many viewers I have pretty much based on if I upload a video and I look at a part, and I can see that that part within a week gets, I don't know, anywhere between 50 and 100 views, depending on popularity, I guess. Counting for this fact that some people are gonna, you know, be clicking on it twice or 3 times, I divide it and I say, okay, if I get 100 views, there's probably about 30 to 40 different people looking at the video. Maybe 30, something like that. But there aren't 30 comments, you know, and I don't expect, of course there are people who are never gonna comment. That's fine, watch the videos, enjoy them as well. But I really want people to become a part of this. Without so much chitter-chatter, I do want to get right into the cigar. I already know it's going to be a good cigar. These are always pretty good. And this is from a batch. Actually, I got this one. Unfortunately, you know, we got 3 people asking for the review. And, of course, during the time they're asking, I'd love to review one that's, you know, out right now, 2012 or 13, something from that range. But I do not have that, and it would take weeks, you know, to probably about 2-3 weeks to get one. So I'm just going to do one right away that is from the jar release, which isn't too long ago. It's 2010, so it's under 4 years old. So, you know, between 3 and 4 years. We're in 2014, but months aside. And we'll be able to get a very good appreciation for what the cigar should taste like, does taste like, and even a little bit of what you're going to get a little later on as the thing ages, because these have been aging quite wonderfully in the jar. So I'll show you that in a second. So tonight is the R&J Short Churchill. We have, if that does not interest you, we have a frenzy of wonderful cigars, both Cuban and non-Cuban, coming up. I will be uploading videos on a daily, you know, if not daily, at least within every 3 days. Right now I'm going through a lot of, this week I have a lot of things to do. I have to go to the doctor's office. I have to go to the DMV. I have to go to 2 different places for security clearance to try to upgrade my security clearance information for jobs and stuff like that. So I have appointments all over the place today. I mean, this week. So the fact that that's another reason why I'm so happy to be doing this tonight. Might be the only chance I have in a few days to do a review. So then, whatever. Without further ado, I present to you the Romeo y Julieta Short Churchill. There it is. Just want to show you, before we start smoking, a nice little close-up shot of the cigar. You can notice that the head of the cigar exhibits some oils coming through, and so did the foot and the rest of the cigar, but it is also becoming a bit papery, which is kind of nice. When they came to me, they were all pretty much the same shade, but you know, during aging, different things can start happening to the cigar. Oils come, oils go, and the foot has acquired quite a papery character to it. Almost like a Hoyo Ep14 No.2 or something like that. So, that's that. But it's a beautiful little smoke. Got the newer version of the Romeo band there. Well, newer, you know, based on when they changed it a few years ago. Got your metals, you know, and just, you know, you see, from here, on this camera, you can see the embossing is very good on these metals. I've had a couple of questions about that. You know, there is such thing as no embossing, bad embossing, too much embossing. You know, bands are pretty particular, and they do vary. You know, they're not always exactly the same. They are, you know, a manufactured product, but they should exhibit something like you're seeing here. The embossing is important, of course, on the Short Churchill band as well. You see how easy it is to see that those dots are like rivets. And there's even a tiny bit of embossing to the black lines, or at least they're raised a bit. Very nice looking cigar. In that foot right there. Nice bunching, nice varied tobacco pattern. No dried stems, veins, what have you. Very nice. Alright, so here we are with the Romeo y Julieta Short Churchill. We're going to give it a little clip. I did want to mention we started talking about tobacco, okay? And we're going to be talking about, not much during this episode, but different types of tobacco and everything. And it kind of it was weird because I didn't get to really start it until the last part of the Gurkha episode. So if you want to start looking at that and follow us with everything we're going to say about different types of tobacco, growing methods, all the different terms you see on cigars, when you know, they talk like, you know, Criollo 98 and Corojo and, you know, Sumatra, Connecticut broadleaf, Connecticut shade, Cameroon, all these different things. We're going to talk a lot about that. We started talking about basically the godfather of all tobaccos, Criollo, and all cigar tobaccos anyway, Criollo, and then Corojo, during the last part of the Gurkha episode. So do watch that because I think you'll learn a little something about all that. Very good stuff. And we will be getting into that much further. Nice cut. Very good there. Mm. 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 Well, we got a little bit of wrapper cracking from that cut. Might be the cold. Hopefully the binder didn't go and it'll be fine. But right now anyway, a mild pre-draw, woody and nutty, almost a roasted nut type flavor, a bit of salt. You can taste some of the age in it, you know. Little spice coming through. Oiler burner kicking on. Well, very subtle notes of like spice, like kind of a nutmeggy type flavor, or kind of like nutmeg, roasted nuts, a bit of almost not really cinnamon, but that type of sweetness. All right, let's light it up, and hopefully she burns. That was interesting. Coming from that really humid jar environment into this frigid, arid, cold. There we go. I can tell right away that with wow, oh my goodness, what an aroma. Very like cinnamon. Oh, nice. Spicy. Spicy, nutty, a bit floral, earthy, giving me that kind of dries out the tongue right away, almost like very like a cobwebby feeling. Nice. Very interesting. Very interesting. What I'm doing is, if you get like, if your wrapper, something happens to it at the bottom, like it starts peeling off, or it cracks, and there's danger of it really starting to, just wet the shit real good, you know? Just wet it. It'll dry out enough by the time the fire gets there to burn okay, you know, and just, it'll keep the wrapper on. But anyway, I was in fear that the binder had popped. I didn't hear anything, so I figured maybe it's just the edge of the wrapper. And I could tell right away once I started puffing on the flame, and you see that boom, boom, boom. That means the air is coming through great. So no problem there. Great Cuban tobacco flavor. Very, very deep. All sorts of subtle things going on. I'm going to let it sit for just a moment because of the temperature difference, which will allow it to acclimate. If you start puffing on it too heavy, and you know it's cold, you can really blow the thing right up. There is that much of a humidity and temperature difference here. It's in that jar, 70 humidity, 67 degrees. Down here, it's almost freezing. There are no radiators, just this oil burner, and it's arid. It's 0% humidity down here. So this thing just went through a drastic change, even being brought down here. So I blame the cracking of that wrapper 100%. You know, that and my cutter seems to be, and it's not the model, this is a beautiful model cutter, but I must have cut, I don't even know. I bought this when I first started working, maybe a year in at the cigar shop, so that blade has got to be getting a little dull by now. My love for cigars is fucking strong when I'm sitting down here in the fucking freezing cold doing a review when I could be nice and comfy up on the couch, but not smoking. So this is interesting. Wow. Just got a very vegetative note, almost like in the nasal, almost like a I guess when they say bean, you know, but almost like this is funny. This is gonna sound almost like split pea, like kind of very strange note, very, very subtle. Oh. A lot of toasted nuts, you know, with an earthy base. Nothing happening in the back of the tongue as far as coffee flavors or leather flavors. Right now, everything is up front. Very interesting. And with those roasted nuts and that earthy base, you can taste a bit of age in the tobacco, almost like a very, very, very faint mossiness, you know, or what I used to say, a lot of times with Davidoff cigars, I would smell that, and, you know, it smells dank almost, you know, but it's very good. The aroma I'm getting, the thing is, this is a very aromatic cigar, and I know this is like that famous Romeo y Julieta profile, because this is different than anything I've been smoking recently. As far as when I bring it to my mouth and I start taking a pull, I also get the aroma of everything coming through the nose, and it is just so sweet and floral and full of all these spices. It's almost like when I open my kitchen cabinet that I have all the spices in, and they've been there for years, you know, cinnamon and nutmeg and allspice and cloves, you know, and then of course everything else, and you open that and you get this blast of all that aroma coming at you. That's what, it's just really aromatic. A little bit of a twang building up. I like that. I like that. It's just so funny how, you know, I felt it. I felt it come out, the smile on my face. I don't think there are, you know, I'm the one who says Cuban cigars are not better than domestic cigars. There are bad Cuban cigars, just as bad, if not worse, than some domestic cigars. I do also say, however, the best cigars I've ever smoked happen to be Cubans. And I just don't know. That smile you see come across my face when I take a puff sometimes, I rarely get that from a domestic cigar. Rarely. But I still love domestic cigars. I still have a ton of them and smoke them daily. So this is burning like a dream. We have a nice tight ash, very cylindrical building up, perfectly around almost, you know, no ins or outs, with a very light color to it for a Cuban cigar. Very, very whitish outside on the ash there. And as we said before, reading up on, if you check those links, you did your homework, talking about ash, not all Cuban ash is created equal, and while much of it is that charcoal-y type of profile, and we said that is most likely tobacco, well, it is tobacco from Vuelta Abajo, but that's what burnt tobacco from Vuelta Abajo ends up looking like. We have something else in here that's giving me a lightish gray, almost at spots that are almost white on the, you know, very nice. That papery wrapper, some oils are starting to seep out now. It's getting a little glossy, a little more sheen to it as it heats up. All I can say for sure is that whatever it's been doing in that jar, it's been doing it wonderfully. Nice clouds of smoke. The draw is beautiful. It offers a slight bit of resistance, but no kind of blockage or plug, or I don't have to double puff. Just comes straight through. Very nice pull. Very nice pull. Even with that crack. I mean, and the crack goes from the band straight up to the head in the wrapper. Amazing.